All right, I think we're live. Can you guys hear me? At least I think we're live. Let me actually check. Yeah, it looks live to me. Great. I'm gonna give it another minute or two just to see who shows up. All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday live stream. How you guys doing? And a bit of a programming note, I think, permanently going to change the time of the live stream to be 2 p.m. EST. The 3 p.m. one ending at like 4:30 was just getting a little bit too late in the afternoon for me, so it should be a little bit better for anybody in Europe that's trying to check things out, but slightly worse for people on the West Coast, but who knows, really? I don't even know how many people watch this live. If too many people want me to change it, I'm still open to changing things back or to other times, but for the time being, yeah, 2 p.m. EST. Next week, I'm gonna be off because it's the holidays, and after that, we should be back. So, yeah, that's the programming note. So now I'm going to... So there was just a release recently, so I'm going to make a habit of going over the release notes in a little more detail on these streams in weeks where there is a release. So I'm going to swap over to screen capture right here. There we go. Nice to see my text editor. All right, where are we going? We're going right here. I think that should be working. Actually, yeah, let me actually move this to the same page as here. Is this actually working? No, it's capturing my Emacs window. Oh, maybe I have to actually select a window on this. Sorry, you have to give me a second. Method display capture, application capture, no. Window capture. Huh? Hey, there we go. So, release notes. All right, yeah, so the recent release has just recently come out. I consider it to be part of the way done. I didn't get as many modules in there as I was looking to, and there's still some changes to the modulation system that I want to get done. And no way, man. And a couple of the modules are still kind of glitchy, but yeah, I'll get around to fixing that stuff at some point. Overall, it's mostly good. I think there's still some issues with the audio system, which I don't think were caused by this release, but there's some things that I want to fix. Anyways, so we'll start with release 1.14, which was the hot fix that I released this morning. I forgot to actually add all the new CAD images from the Discord server into the actual release package, so I did that. And I fixed a couple of bugs that were directly introduced by the release. This reset audio processing thing I had to actually deactivate because it caused more problems than it solved, and by that I mean it caused problems and solved none. So that's gone, but I didn't bother updating the release notes. Anyways, back to the release notes for the actual release. So you may or may not remember, but there was an issue where the sub-modules on the create page were getting improperly filtered when you had library tags active. That's been fixed. There are now, you should have got some new patches from the release. The new ones that came from some of the previous streams have been added. These are unrelated ones. Oh god. Wait, they should have been added. The synth might be having some problems. I believe I actually updated this thing. Let me make sure before we are on the right version. The synth is a little weird because it's a live stream synth, so it's got some different patches on it. So I am going to look for what should have been added by the recent release. Alright, here's another feature. Shift scroll now scrolls by page. That's just a quality of life feature. Oh, I should have really gone the other way. Oh, this actually works just fine. You son of a bitch. Maybe that didn't work. I guess I need to do a better job of testing some of this stuff. Well, that means another hotfix. I guess those patches aren't actually on. Maybe the synth is just confused. I really don't know. I'm gonna have to check that out later. So yeah, maybe those patches didn't make it, but I will figure that out. So yeah, in general, there's been a bunch of changes to Cat Party, which is the basic idea here. Actually, let me go back to the library and turn off all this stuff. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Cat Party has a lighting module. There are some internal changes to Cat Party. And then the next things are just adding additional modules. There's the quantization deformation. There's more texture generators. There's more effects, deformations, and now hyper effects. Where is this? Oh yeah, here's an interesting feature. So there's configurable screensaver mappings now. So yeah, there should have been. I don't know why the synth doesn't have them. I think it might have just been confused because it had some other patches on there. Although I really don't know. I'm going to have to take a look at that and see what's going on. Anyways, I'll just assume it's sort of working kind of buggy here. But yeah, thanks for that feedback. I appreciate that. So, screensaver. So the screensaver works by randomizing every 30 seconds or whatever you have configured to. Now, instead of randomizing, you can make it do whatever you want. So if you go into, let's just create a new, they're in UI. We're going to create a new mapping. And there's a new signal here called screensaver alt, which is for alternate screensaver mode. So if you have any of these mappings created, then instead of toggling the screensaver every 30 seconds, it'll toggle one of these mappings. So for instance, you can have this be next patch. All right. Now, instead of the screensaver randomizing every time it toggles, it'll just go to the next patch. So you can actually have it step directly through each patch in the library as opposed to randomizing. You could make it basically do whatever you want every 30 seconds now. So if you want to like randomize like the color and keep the rest of the patches the same, you can do that. What I do is create one of these for... Here, actually, let's just like... Let me demonstrate. Next patch. Oh, we're on Cat Party. All right. Every number of seconds, it's going to change the cat because we have this mapping created. Now, if we go into screen, where are we at? Going to screensaver, interval, 5 seconds. So now I start this every 5 seconds. It should be buggy. So let's try something else, actually. Oh my God. what is going on here? Oh, the sorting order's changed. All right, so now the screensaver every 5 seconds should just change the color patch. And let me turn this off. So as opposed to randomizing every single time, we've now changed it just to change the colors. And you can basically do whatever you want. So now there's just basically like a periodic automation system you can use. So it's basically just another degree of customization for the screensaver. You see every 5 seconds, just loading the next color patch. Turn that off. All right. And yeah, there's some, oh crap, sorry. Nope. There's some usability improvements for the mapping editor. It now persists your settings when you change the action or some other configuration kind of stuff. It's definitely useful. The back button, oh wait, there's an exposure control for video cameras. So for people that are having issues with their camera, like washing out or things like that, you can now. Let's see if this will or will not crash everything. Actually, I probably should have this camera live for this stream anyways. So you go into I/O, video, camera. Go to config. Now, there's auto exposure settings. So now auto exposure is on manual. Now it's on aperture priority. And some other cameras have different settings here, but this should help for people whose cameras weren't working properly. And we definitely want it on aperture priority. The back button's a little bit better. It'll behave a little bit less janky in some circumstances. Modulation. If you go into an individual modulation channel, it will actually show it as grayscale now because that's slightly more appropriate for what the actual content is. Screensaver bug fixed. You can now rotate orbs. I can get into that. More cats that didn't actually happen. A bunch more effects, lighting sources, and glitches. And yeah, added this AB texture, which we're going to get into in a second. So that being said, that's the majority of the release notes. Kind of glossed over some of them there, but we'll get into those right now. So most of those that I glossed over are just new modules. So in the in the texture module, there's a couple of new ones since the last stream. The synth didn't update properly. Didn't get these previews, which absolutely should have been in the release. What on earth is going on here? It's missing some of the new content. I wonder if it's a bug with all these hotfixes, because this one was updated straight from 1.12 to 1.15. I am going to factory reset this synth and then install the update from scratch. So in case you guys ever want to factory reset a synth, there's a couple ways to do it. This is the easiest one. You can't re-update after it's already updated, but yeah, it's basically what I'm doing here. Or maybe I shouldn't even do that, like, because there's actually valuable debugging information on here. It's too late though, I think. All right, accept the terms and conditions. The synth is version 100. Yep, update available. Should go straight to 115. It should take like a minute or two. I'm really confused though. There might... No, I don't even know what could have caused that. But we'll see. Hopefully this should work, but... A little live debugging here. Yeah, I tested like several updates on several different synths, but I did push 2 hotfixes this morning, and there's a possibility it could have be causing this. If that's not the case, then I really don't know, but hopefully this will just solve all the issues. I've got like literally hundreds of these synths here, so I should be able to reproduce it. Yeah, it definitely has the proper release notes. All right. Okay. Yeah, here are the patches. All right. Anyways, I don't know what that was about, but we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. So we're going to load Cat Party. I don't think it updated properly. I really don't know what kind of failure mode that is, but yeah. Anyways, we're going into the cat module. We now have additional cats or cat-like friends. Anyways, yeah, for those that don't know, the major update of the Cat Party instrument is that instead of just having cats, you have access to the entire texture system. If you guys aren't familiar with the texture system, there's a bunch of ways of just generating textures that can be used all throughout the synth. So this is used in the fractal instruments for texturing the seed. It's used all throughout the modulation system. It's used in the Wavy Boy instrument for texturing the axis, and I think even the thing that's dancing around itself. But in general, you can generate textures from images. You got access to the whole image library here. There's a big collection of generative textures, which generate textures via formulas. And you can swap out which formula, just really basic equations that give you... Let me turn off the effect. Oh yeah. In the party module. Now we just have the raw texture itself. Whoops. Yeah, in this texture library, we have ways of generating textures that are just solid colors. You can use the cats. Actually, no, that's a little bit more advanced. I'll get into that stuff in a second. You can use the video source as a texture. This is one of the easiest ways to get video into here. You can swap between the other video sources. You can use the modulation patterns as textures. You can use the cat images as textures. And there's a bunch of textures that are just based directly on the audio that's coming in. There's a colored version of one. This is based on CV. There's like a little oscilloscope you can use as a texture. You can go into there and actually change the waveforms and frequencies and stuff like that. Oh, that's just the width. Actually, can you even change the frequency of this stuff? Yeah, you should be able to. Whoops. Yeah, in any place throughout the synth that you need just like a raw RGB texture, it uses this texture generation system. And there are new textures. There's this cylinder, which I think I showed you guys last week. There's an orb. There's this wave visualization. There's a couple more wave visualizations. This one is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. There's this thing right here. And this is a new one. This is some lights that dance around. And you can use this, again, anywhere you want in the synth. You can go into this module and see. It's got a couple of parameters. You can offset the color. You can make it big or small. It's just 4 dancing lights. And you can control how close the lights are to each other. You can also control how they move with this waveform right here. So now they're going to move a lot more jaggedy. Now they're going to have some jumps or discontinuities. There we go. Decrease the spread. Yeah, this is all GLSL shaders. That's exactly what's going on under the hood. Like it's if you're familiar with Shader Toy, like I've basically built like a custom version of Shader Toy that's much more complicated. And it's all based on shaders. It's like a network of shaders. There's like 15 of them running and feeding into each other with like feedback loops and all kinds of stuff like that. So when you're actually loading these modules, it's basically dynamically like recompiling and configuring GLSL shaders. That's exactly what's going on underneath the hood. It's pretty much the only way you can actually generate these kind of graphics in real time on this kind of hardware. Users cannot add their own shaders. It's a requested feature by some subset of our users, but the actual... So it's a lot more complicated than just like a basic shader. So actually exposing that kind of interface to people would take a lot more work than you might think. At some point in time, I will probably make it so that you can just put something on a USB stick and it'll try to upload it, but it's probably not going to be super well documented or supported. But if people want to like hack around with it, I'll probably expose something. And here we can actually use the audio input. It's kind of glitchy, but yeah, this is using the audio input to determine what we're actually doing here. You can graph them with the CV waveform and all kinds of other stuff too. Let's try using like the modulation system with this. I don't even know what that would do. Let's modulate this. Change the color. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool actually. Let's change the intensity on this one. So now they're kind of spread out in space. Let's change it to this guy. Anyways, this is the wave or the lights shader or the lights texture. So the most important new one that I added right here is an AB texture. So this one lets you basically choose any 2 other textures and blend them. So you can blend, right now we're blending the wave visualization with an image. So this is basically the most powerful feature that's been added to the synth so far. It lets you arbitrarily mix an arbitrary number of things. For instance, you can blend one AB texture with another AB texture. And then you can keep nesting them. At some point in time, it's going to break in a not particularly graceful manner. But that is your problem for the moment. So now we're blending an image texture with a video texture with this waveform visualizer. And then you can go in here and swap things around as well. So we're in texture A of texture B of this AB texture. You can change the way they're being blended. You can change the mix from A to B. And again, B is a mix between the video and this waveform generator. We'll play around with this one a little bit later. All right, back to the new Cat Party modules. Actually, let's go and change this to this guy right here. All right, dog. So we also have a couple of new deformations, or maybe just one new. We got, oh, this guy. Here, check this out. Yes, you can modulate the mix. So we got this effect. It's kind of, this is one of the ones I was talking about. It's a little glitchy. Like these lines on the edges don't look great. And this one I reserve the right to kind of update and change. It's kind of a cool effect. But you do have this, which you can animate. You just do that. Woo! Is that the only one I have here? Yeah, I think that's the only new one here. I think you can change the number of these you got going on. Yeah, it's really kind of janky in some ways, but I still think it's cool. So it's in there. I think the most important thing I got to do is fix all the pixelation on the edges of the tiles, but we'll figure that out. All right, what else we got? Let's turn that off. I think the most, yeah. So there's dither, tunnel. Oh yeah, there's 4 new hyper effects. We got this one right here. We got to turn it on. It's basically like a warping kind of flag waving thing. You can go into here and you can control the frequency of the warping, control the intensity, and the phase. That was what was being animated to actually create the animation. There's a film grain. You can change the intensity of the grain and how dispersed it is. And we also have some edge detection filters. So we got this guy here. So let's actually go in here and turn it to the video camera. Where's the video camera? Edge detected feedback. See, this is cool, right? I'm probably going to use this for some part of the thumbnail. So you can go into... Let's actually point the camera at it. Maybe I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah, so we can go into there, and you can actually mess around with it too. There's some cool stuff in here. Actually, there's only a few things. The first thing, you can just invert it. And there's also madness mode. Which looks better on static images. Whoa, what the hell did I do? So yeah, let's go and change this back to a cat. Yeah, so this is what you kind of get for static images. I think you can still animate it. Let's make it like rotate. Now it's just rotating the entire thing. Or let's try something that's... Let's try madness mode on, like, this guy. Nope. What about on one of these wave visualizers? Holy shit. That's madness. Hello. Showing off some of the new features from the recent update. I'm actually going to swap to a different view real quick. Let's go to this guy. So it's a little bit easier to see things when just the camera focus. Yeah, it does look best on static images, but it's this there to mess around with. I'm gonna go back to the video. Where are we? Video texture. And then I'm gonna turn off madness mode. mean, looks all right. It's a little wild. There we go. And again, you can turn it on and off, this parameter here. And there's a second edge detection mode as well. It's Edges 3. Edges 2 didn't quite work out. It's also great, right? This one has a little bit more that you can control. You can make it that. This is another one of these things you don't really need to understand what it does. It just basically does that, and that's good enough. For this, you can invert it again. So yeah, you can then take this, you can combine it with any of these other things. Now it's using the audio waveform to chop things up. Got pixelation. I think it does the pixelation before or after the edge detection. Yeah, no, before. Got this guy. How's that work? And turn on the rainbow effect. I think this happens after the edge detection. I think it happens in order from right to left. Let's try. I guess we're already inverting it, so. Oh, it's effect 2 amount. Yeah, I thought about that. So that would be possible. In particular, I thought about that for like the color module, because in the color module, you have in the other instruments, it goes post-processing function, effect, and lighting. I thought about making 6 of those where you can actually have them swapped. But it's one of those things where it would be useful to some people in some circumstances, but would also add additional complexity. And I think at the moment, one of the things this thing does not need is additional complexity. So if I could find a way to do that and not just overload the UI with like more stuff, I would do it. But so let's go back to this guy, and then go down to, there we go. Actually, let's just keep it on this one right here. All right, so what are we even going to do today? So I think that's all of the new modules. Again, no, well, so the video is going to be running better now. So in the past, the way that you had to get video in the system was to go into the cat part, or into the fractal instrument, to turn off the symmetry, to load a video texture, and then to load the full screen shape. So in order just to get a processed video, this is what you would have to do. And this is running this texture through the recursion system. So the entire like architecture of the fractal instrument is running right now just to get this video solidly displayed on the screen. And what we've done is we've taken the cat party instrument, which is literally just like an effect chain. It's way simpler than the other instrument. It takes the cat, feeds it through a deformation, feeds it through the hyper effect, feeds it through these effects. So it's literally just like a linear order of effects. So it's just a lot simpler and it runs a lot faster. So there's been no update to the video system because there's just like literally less stuff happening. The video will run faster. So now you can actually, before switching to 720p would bog down the camera. And now it runs just fine. Let me actually, 1080p is still too slow. It will bog down the system, but 720p is now perfectly acceptable. Where are we at? Yeah, right here. Now we have to go and change the party. See, runs perfectly fine. turn on these effects. Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, there is still like an update to the video system scheduled. Part of it I might be able to do sooner rather than later, but the other part is going to require a complete reflashing of the firmware on the synth. Basically, the entire operating system needs to be swapped out. So that's put off for a minute. In order to get the video system to where I really want it to be, that's unfortunately going to be necessary. The plan for that is to make an image that you can just flash onto a USB stick and it'll take care of everything. But Hyper Effect is exclusive to Cat Party. Sorry, I got a little bit of ADD. So yeah, I'm going to make it as painless as possible to get that one update, but there will be a point next summer, next March, April, somewhere around there, where in order to get future updates, you will have to completely reflash the system. I'm going to try to make it only happen once, but yeah, that's definitely there's some issues with the video system that make that kind of mandatory. Anyways, Hyper Effect is exclusive to Cat Party, but the plan is to turn all of the effects throughout the system into Hyper Effects at some point, basically just merge the two, but at the moment, it is exclusive to Cat Party. So the way these effects work is a little bit different. Just the way it's designed, they can't really take into account like space in any obvious way. These normal effects literally just take a color and turn it into another color. Well, the hyper effects let you do a lot more complicated stuff, which is how you can kind of like warp all sorts of things, like this little tunnel guy and everything else. You get the edge detection. Actually, like edge detection 3 a little bit better. And let's put that through pastel. Sure, why not? So yeah, basically we have now changed Cat Party to be an arbitrary texture processing system, where the texture can be a video texture. It can also be one of these audio reactive textures. It can be a cat like we had in the past. Here's one of these audio processing textures. Let me take this wave visualizer. And we're going to use, how does this look in here? A little bit too pixelated. Actually, that's kind of cool. And then there's an effect amounts, which is this guy, right? How's that look? All right, so let's play around with some of these intermediate buffers. So I'm not sure people understand this stuff all that much. So I'm going to go into this module, and we're going to load the cat image, the default cat image. I'm going to turn off the pixelation. So, basic cat image. It's supposed to be the edge detection, which I'm also going to turn off. I'm going to turn off most of this stuff. So, we have an effect here, all right? So, let's find an effect that does something interesting to the eyes, all right? Actually, I think the sphere effect will do what we want. All right, so we have this effect right here, which has made these eyes blue, all right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a mask in the modulation system, a mask that picks out only the eyes, all right? So we're gonna go into the modulation system. I'm gonna go into channel 1, all right? This is our modulation pattern. Right now it's just this image, or just this radial pattern. We're going to swap it, the modulation mix, all the way to 1. So now it's using the texture. There's another place the texture sources come into a place. So there are these intermediate textures right here, which are absolutely not visible at the moment. So this is the cat module texture. So this right here is the output from the cat module in the cat party system. You have a sub-party texture, which is the output of the party module, but after the hyper effect. And you have a module that is the final output of the system. All right? You can't really see any of this, but it's in there. So we're going to change this to be the cat module. So this is now outputting the cat module into this modulation pattern. So you see, you go into here, you see that the first modulation pattern has the output of the cat module. All right? And wait, can you even do what I want? Yes. So there's the modulation patterns are black and white, but the texture is RGB. So these reduce functions let you go from RGB to black and white. We're going to use this RGB similarity module right here. And we're going to set it to be detecting black. All right. This is still blurry as shit, huh? Oh, that's... I think my camera's blurry, or let me play around with this for a second, or my filters are not good. I think I might just need to clean my camera lens. I'll do that. The next stream. This looks. Oh, what if I change these lights? I don't know if that helps. Anyways, I don't really know what's going on with the camera. The text is really basically entirely unlegible. Anyways, I'll go back to what I was doing here. So I'm trying to create a mask that only picks out the eyes. And that's close to what we've done, all right? I'm gonna make it a little bit more precise, so I'm gonna increase the threshold. So now it should only be picking out exact blacks. All right, you see, we've created this mask. It's using the cat module, the output of the cat module, put through a RGB similarity module. So this module, basically, you give it a RGB color and it will, it's basically like chroma keying or luma keying, if you guys are familiar with that. So we basically set the color it's detecting to be black. And now we have this modulation texture, which is only the eyes, or only blacks from the output of the cat module. And now we can go into the party module and we can selectively enable this effect. So now we have enabled the effect literally only for the eyes of the cat. Change the effects. Actually, no, let's go into here. Now we're playing around with the sphere effect, and it's literally only changed the cat's eyeballs. I need to make that faster. Even faster. So these intermediate modules are actually really useful. Every instrument has their own kind of intermediate modules, and you can use those to create masks, basically, is the idea. And you see, if we go in here and we change the cat, it should do a similar thing where it's only finding blacks, but this cat's entirely black, or at least a lot more black. I'll go into the modulation module and try to make the mask a little more sharp. And you can create like another module. Let's do the exact same thing, except this one we're going to detect like total whites. All right. So we're actually going to do that by going in here, saving this guy. Loading it into channel 2. Going into here, and instead of detecting blacks, we're going to detect whites. See, now we have these 2 masks that we made. And then in the party module, we'll take effect 2 and enable that with mask 2. And instead of inverting, we will also use, let's just try spaz. Or it's already white. Some of these don't affect blacks and whites. This one should. We can mix in. Oops. Oh, come on. Mixer. All right, so now we're going to selectively mix in a different buffer everywhere that there's white. And we will use a video texture. Why not? Let's actually go back into the cat and change a different cat. It's a little bit too... There we go. This is what you always wanted. A cat whose face is partially replaced by a video camera. I hope you guys get the idea. This is kind of insane, but also super powerful. There we go. I'm going to go back into the modulation pattern and make the mask a little bit less sharp. There we go. All right, now we'll go back to the party module. And I don't know, let's play around with the hyper effect or something. And now, most important thing. We're not mirroring. Hey, what's up, man? I'm playing with cats. Let's turn off that one animation. It's just starting to get kind of ridiculous. Let's turn that to sine wave. All right. Now, instead of the cat, let's play with some of these new textures. Let's go with the orb. Oh my god, that's too much orb. I don't know why that's flashing, but we'll figure it out. I think it's... Oh, that's right. It's because we made all the black flash. All right, so I guess we need something... Let's... sorry, I apologize for the aneurysm I'm probably giving you guys. All right, so let's go to this effect. Where was the flashing even coming from? I don't even remember. It's almost certainly the modulation system in here. No. I forgot what I animated. So actually, thankfully, I have this little list right here. There we go. It's the angle in here. We'll just slow it down or speed it up. Slow it down. There we go. All right. Let's go into the hyper effect. Change it from, actually, we can go in here and we can play around with these dithering amounts. We can turn on the dithering when it's black. Does that work? Not visibly. Let's try that. No. What is this one right here? PX? Who knows? How about we try the tunnel? Hey, that's not bad. Oh yeah, it's still doing this weird thing where it's using these masks. I think we're done with the masks. So that was turning on the mixer effect. Let's go with, let's go with another one of these. I'm gonna set a bookmark so I can get back to here easily. Bookmark on this one. And I'm going to bookmark the cat module on bookmark 1. So now I can do quick navigation. All right. I like lights. Let's use the AB texture, and then we can blend the lights with something else. So we're gonna use lights and laser. I'm starting to slow down a bit because this is actually doing a lot of computation now. So I don't understand something. Lights, lasers. I don't understand why there's... Oh, it's using... That's from the mask, never mind. I'm gonna turn off these masks. There we go. It's actually going a little slower than I would expect. At least I think it is. Oh yeah, that's right. I also gotta turn this gain down on this one. I'm gonna change my camera resolution back to 640 by 480. Hopefully it's not gonna crash everything. There we go. It might help. It might also just be a glitch. Yeah, it's looking way too choppy. I don't really know what is going on. Let's try that one. Yeah, that works fine. Alright, so let's go to back to the AB texture. Maybe those waves just didn't like being in there. I really know. Anyways, we're gonna blend. Yeah, let's blend this rainbow FFT with this wave visualizer. There we go. I'm gonna go into here and put the scale on a slow saw wave that goes from, yeah, let's try that. All right, I'm gonna change the other. Actually, let's go and play around with this mix control. All right, yeah, you know what? All right, so we got this one on that channel, and on this channel we're gonna do an orb. So now we're mixing between the orb and this guy. And we're gonna take this mix control, go to its info page, and then make a mapping for it. From the audio. So every time the volume is loud, I want the orb to show up. All right. Action, set value of mix. All right. And we're going to swap min and max because orb is on channel A and the waves is on channel B. So when there is no volume, I want it to be 0, or I want it to be 1. So we can get channel A. When there is 0 volume, I want it to be channel A. No, I want it to be channel B. Alright? I'm going to add a little bit of attack just to smooth out the volume. It's going to be 10 milliseconds. Alright, so now this mix control should swap to the orb anytime the volume is louder than... Or it should use the audio volume to control this mix. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna hook the orb radius up to the same volume. All right? So we'll go edit here. Let's find the orb or orb radius. All right. And it's gonna go from 1 to 2. All right, and now we're gonna have to save new because we don't want to edit the previous one. That orb radius is too large. It needs to be even smaller right here. The maximum is good. All right. So we've got that. Now we need to go... Oops. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted at all. Ah, crap. No, that should actually still be fine. All right, we're going to go... That. Navigate... All right, that's a bug. Navigation isn't work... Oh. Navigation doesn't work on this page, apparently. All right, so into the AB texture. We're going into the orb. Now we're going to change the texture on the orb. Image. Solid. I mean, we could take the entire output and put that on the orb. Now we got some recursion going on in here. Video orb. Cat orb. I think we need to go in there and play with the effects. Actually, let's put the FFT texture on the orb. Or we can put waves on the orb. Or we can put another one of these guys on the orb. I think what we actually need to do is go change the effect because it's too rainbowy. So we're going to go into the party module. What do we even have going on here? We have a rainbow effect, which we'll just turn off. I think it zooms in too much. So first of all, we're going to go back into here and we're going to change this LFO right here's range. That needs to go to 1. And you'll go to 3. Whoops. Start LFO. Oh, scale works the opposite of how I think it does. I think, yeah, I think I need it to be 1/3 or something like that. All right, we're getting there. So let's go back to the party module and add some like effects. Let's play around with that's an aberration effect, which actually looks pretty cool. It has an offset control in here now, so I can control the dispersion of that. I kind of like that. I think I still want to change this LFO a little bit more. Instead of 0.3, we'll go with 0.6. So it's not quite zoomed out as much. Actually, let's just go in here and like, oh God, again. Whoa. Oh no, I messed that up. Where was I? There we go. So we got aberrate, we got dither, we got tunnel. How does this tunnel even look? Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, it turned out pretty cool. Like I mentioned in the server the other day, hopefully we're pretty close to hitting the point where I've got most of the bugs fixed and development will swap over just basically to like making more content like this kind of stuff, which has always been the plan. There's still like a couple of random bugs that I know of that exist, like in particular the Wi-Fi manager's super janky. But I think I'm getting pretty close to the point where development is largely going to switch to just making cool shit, which has always been the plan. Film grain? Let's add another mixer, or a mixer into here. So we'll turn the effect up. What are we even gonna mix? So this is giving us feedback. Oh, wait, there are, yeah, there's these kind of controls here. But I don't want to just use the output texture. You can use the video texture. So now we actually have some camera overlay here. Actually, let's add the lights in. I like these lights. I want to change the texture on this orb. I'm not really digging the current bands. I'll make them rainbowy. Nah. Second orb? No. And there's oh yeah, there's another texture you can choose right here for the background of this wave. So we can put the video on that. Let's make it white. I'm going to change the color for the wave visualizer here. I think I just changed the palette here. All right, what are we doing now? Let's go back into the party module and play around. Oh, I think there's lights in here too. Let's turn the lights on. Should make the orb look more 3D. It's pretty much its only major contribution, I believe. What about this flag effect? Let's make a modulation pattern that uses audio. Let's go to channel 3. Should be a couple of them in here, right? Let's try this guy. So now we got modulation channel 3, generating stuff with audio. Let's see what happens if we modulate some of these parameters with that. Now the amount of rippliness in the flag module is being controlled by the audio and the modulation pattern. Let's turn it down a little bit. I don't really like that. I do kind of like this though. I think we have another effect in here we're not really playing with. We're not really using the invert effect here. But I think that's this guy right here. Actually, not too bad. Actually, let's play around. Oh, I can't. I want to use the edge detection with the flag, but I don't think we can do that. Let's just swap the edge detection and see what happens. Turn the inverting off. All right, let's go back into here. Instead of Wave Visualizer 3, we'll use Wave Visualizer 2. Let's try madness mode. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's madness. I think this is pretty alright. Where did those lights even come from? The lights are coming from the mixer, right? Let's change the lights to something else. Or actually, let's go in here and like configure the lights. Well, you know what? There's also this modulation pattern we made. Thanks for coming by. All right, I'm actually gonna turn off some of this overlay stuff as well as the chat window for a moment. Then I'm going to restart the song and just record a video.
She's my rain in the desert, she's my sun in the storm. She's my food when I'm hungry, she's my rose amongst the thorns. She's my glue when I'm broken, she's my warmth when I'm cold. She's my breath when I'm choking, she's my fire when I'm sold. But I want cream in my coffee, I want springs in my steps, I want gin in my tonic, and I want all that I can get. I want freedom as I run, and I want wind in my fire, and I want bullets in my gun to do whatever I desire. When I saw her there with a flower in her hair amongst the roses, yes, she struck me dumb, made me scared, made me run from her loving, from her loving. 'Cause I didn't understand the power in her hands as they touched me, as they touched me. I got hypnotized by her voice and her eyes. Oh babe, I'm yours. Oh babe, I'm yours. Too far ahead with my hands in my pockets and the words in my head, spelling out the answers to the questions left unsaid. Don't analyze the problems to the steps that I tread. When I saw her there with a flower in her hair amongst the roses, yes, she struck me dumb, made me scared, made me run from her loving, from her loving. 'Cause I didn't understand the power in her hands as they touched me, as they touched me. I got hypnotized by her voice and her eyes. Oh babe, I'm yours. Oh babe, I'm yours.
Alright, I hope that recorded alright. I need to make more of a habit of actually like turning some of these streams into content I can post on social media, so that's what that was. I think I'm probably pretty close to the end of the stream. Happy to take any like questions or like dive into any kind of stuff that anybody might have an interest in talking about, so. The important thing to know for what's going on in this patch right now is that I'm using the AB texture source, which basically lets you blend two textures. We're blending the orb and we're blending these waves. And I also have a audio mapping set up, in case you guys missed that. I think it was in, yeah, no, it's this mix parameter. That really should have, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, so we have this parameter right here, which is taking the volume of the audio signal and mapping the mix control. So the mix between the A and B channels is set there, and also the orb radius is being set by the audio volume. So yeah, you guys got any questions? Cool. I'm gonna have to figure out new content for the next streams. Actually, you know what? I think, yeah, in the future we're going to be doing a little bit more. I might actually come up with patches beforehand and try to explain how we actually have made those patches. Oh, yeah, you're right. Whoops. Well, we're basically over, so thanks for pointing that out. That's not you, it's, shoot. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out why this shit's so blurry. It's been better in the past, but like the text is barely legible even on my screen, so I can't imagine what it looks like on your guys' screens. Yeah, what the hell is going on here? Alright, cool. Well, yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate you guys coming. Again, for you guys that missed it, live stream is now 2 p.m. EST. Unless enough people complain, then I'll reschedule it to some other point in time. And we're going to be off next week because of the holidays, but then the weekend after I should be back. So I'll see you guys around Discord. Actually, you know what? Oh shit, that's right. I was using this camera for something else, and I put it on to autofocus as opposed to manual focus. Let me actually just like try that right now. Thanks, I appreciate that. That was exactly, no wait. You know what? Maybe that's not even it. It is on manual focus. It probably is a setting with the camera because I was recently playing with it because I had to take some videos outdoors. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'll get it sorted out by the next stream, so. All right, well, appreciate it, guys. I'll see you guys around, and in a couple weeks. Happy holidays.